Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexiot's here, and it is Thursday, so we're doing a Thursday think tank. And since the FIBA World Cup is starting tomorrow, I thought I'd do an overview of the FIBA World Cup, the different groups, and predicting who I think will advance. FIBA World Cup is actually pretty simple, guys. It starts with 32 teams, and it cuts down to 16, and then it cuts down to 8, and then it cuts down to 4, and then it cuts down to 2, and then it cuts down to 1. So basically, in each one of the groups, like our group, which is Canada, France, Latvia, and Lebanon, two of those four groups will advance to the second round. And it really is who has the best record after the three games that they're going to play in the next couple days. So this is a key game right away. The game against France for Canada is maybe the most important game of World Cup to start because it's really the way they're going to start off on the right foot by beating France. Now, France is ranked higher than us and favored higher than us. So, in some ways, Team Canada beating France tomorrow will be a big, big statement to start this tournament and show that we're for real and we ain't messing around. So, we need to beat France tomorrow. I don't care. We've beaten Spain and Germany in the last week. And we are ready to take on a challenge like France in a very, very competitive, tough game. I believe in Canada. So basically, we just have to get past the first part, have to do better than Lebanon and Latvia. And well, what I'm going to do is go through each of the groups and tell you who's favored out of the four teams to advance as the two teams to go to the next round. And then maybe we'll speculate later on about who's going to go past into the further rounds, like after this first round's done. So maybe next Thursday we'll do the same thing after the dust settles after the first round. So just a quick overview of each group. Let me check in with the comments and then I'll get into my spiel. Isaac Campbell's first in today. Wait, what? That's countries. What's that country above USA? Oh, yeah, Canada. Yeah, on the map. We are directly above the United States on the map of the world. And that's right. And there's me, Canadian Lex. Yes, yes, I am Canadian. Trevor J saying, good morning, Raptors family. And he's got Pascal, OG, Scotty, Grady, Darko with the halo. I see that halo on Darko, Tom Duke. I saw you went and got that halo. I love it. Thank you, Tommy. Thank you. Let's go. Yes, Trevor. Always good to see you. And his words of wisdom today are before you give advice to others how they do things, you need to check yourself first and ask yourself, have you ever made a correct decision yourself? You know, in some ways, this is perception. Some people can say your decision was the wrong decision, but you may know deep in your heart for your life and your own private reasons that that was the right decision. People have the weirdest perceptions of other people. And if you don't know those people and you don't know the reasoning or the reasons why they live their life that way, you shouldn't judge them for their decisions and trying to tell them whether they're being correct or not. You may not know the whole story or all the details for the reasons why they make the decisions they do. So it's always best to hold judgment and always realize just because you would do things a certain way doesn't mean everybody else would do it the certain way because everybody has their own likes, dislikes, proclivities, and things that matter to them that aren't all the same. It's what makes us all different and great. So, really, people that are busybodies trying to tell people how to live their lives, well, maybe they don't have a life like yours and they don't need to be told how to live their life by you. There you go. Thank you, Trevor J, for great words of wisdom this morning. Tom Duke has got the Maple Leafs out in full effect. He's got the Mug Brothers out there, too. He's got the American Eagles, the American Eagles out there. That's right. 1, Canada, 2, Germany, 3, USA. So I see the beer mugs stand for Oktoberfest in Germany. Yes, Dennis Schroeder. Yes, I'm very proud of Dennis and the German team. And I'll talk about them in just a little bit. But Canada, Germany, US, that's how you see them coming out this tournament. Very cool stuff, Tom. I like your predictions. I hope you're exactly right. That U.S. team's going to be tough. Seriously, we're going to have to see what happens. Good morning to you, Tom, and thank you for Halo Darko. Darko Halo. Halo Darko. Yes, good morning. And there's me. There's me. Tobias is here. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to you, Tobias. And let's go, Canada. That's right, Tobias. All right, let's talk about Group A. First and foremost, we'll start off with Group A. In Group A, the favorite team and best team in Group A is Italy. Now, Italy does not really have any NBA stars on it currently right now. Of course, the history of Italy is deep and rich with lots of great players from Italy like Andrea Bagnani, but nobody like that is on this team at this point. It really is. There's some older players that never made the NBA, and then there's some younger players on the rise. But the thing about Italy is that they are experienced. Once again, they're one of these European teams that has a lot of players that are very, very, very experienced, and they have won every single game in preparation for this World Cup. They are 7-0 in their preparation schedule, and there's some big teams they beat on this. They beat Brazil, they beat Greece, they beat Serbia, they beat Puerto Rico in the warm-ups and the friendlies. But as I said, they have nobody from the NBA. They don't have Marco Bellinelli. They don't have Danilo Gallinari. So Italy is really going into this with, let's see, they got one NBA player. The one single NBA player on this team is Simone Fontecchio, who I have no idea who that is. They play for the Utah Jazz, apparently. But still, Italy is the favorite to win Group A and have the best record at the end of it. Now, which of the other three teams will join Italy to advance is going to be very interesting. And the Group A matchup to watch for is Dominican Republic versus Philippines. The host country will be playing cat, and the Dominican team that we just saw last week that beat us because we played our scrubs at the end of the game. But this will be very important. And the way this affects Canada is we want Dominican to lose. Yeah. Every other America's team in the World Cup, we want to lose. Yeah, including the US, because those are the spots we're looking for. There's only two of them, and there's 7 countries from the Americas in FIBA World Cup. And for Canada to qualify for the Olympics, we have to do better than 5 of those teams and be one of the top 2 teams and get there. Now, we know the US is probably likely to take one of those 2 spots. So it's very, very tight. Very, very tight. And we need all those other teams from the Americas to not do well. Yes. And Dominican is one of them. So we are rooting for Jordan Clarkson in the Philippines. And we want that host country to get some good shine and good happiness from that game. It'll be so crucial for Philippines with Jordan Clarkson to match up really strongly against Dominican Republic and hopefully beat them. This game will be going on, I think, tomorrow or Saturday. It is one of the first games of the series. So right away, France versus Canada, Dominican versus Philippines. These are huge games, and we really are rooting for Philippines to get to the second round, not just because they're a host country, but also because they really help Canada if they do this. If they can beat the Dominican Republic in their first game, this will be huge for helping Canada. I cannot understate this. So the Philippines has Kai Soto. Philippines has Jordan Clarkson. They have some interesting good players and they got some strength, but we need that host country to cheer them on good. And for some reason, I just don't want Cat to get nowhere. Nah, man, you can't just show up at the last minute and try and drag your Dominican team into Olympic contention. Nah, dog, you need to lose to the Philippines tomorrow. Now, the other team in Group A is Angola. Angola is very much a dark horse and probably not likely to make very much noise in any kind of way. So it really is. Italy's probably going to get one spot, and it's up for grabs between Philippines and Dominican Republic in Group A. And we are definitely rooting for the Philippines. Team Canada fans, definitely. Let's move on to Group B and take a look at this group here. The favorite in Group B is Serbia. Serbia, of course, is that team that's got let's see who's on Serbia. I'll scroll to my little thing. So there's China. China's in this group also. We've got Serbia, China, South Sudan, and the other team is Puerto Rico. Of course, we're rooting against Puerto Rico in this group, obviously, because they're the Americas team here. And Serbia has Bogdan Bogdanovic. He is the main dude in this Group B. Serbia should win this group and be the number 1 team coming out of Group B. They were 5-1 in their preparation schedule. Their only loss came to that Italian team that I was just talking about, but they beat Brazil, Puerto Rico already, Greece, Poland, and China to get in their warmups. And of course, they have a few NBA players. They have Bogdan Bogdanovic and Nikola Jovic, the rookie from the Miami Heat last year on Serbia. So we're rooting for Serbia, of course. And then out of those other four teams to beat Puerto Rico, who really their best player for Puerto Rico is Tremont Waters, Raptors replacement player during COVID problems, is the best player for Puerto Rico. And they are 1-5 in their preparation schedule. They've lost a lot. So hopefully Puerto Rico can just be out after the first round. That'll really help Canada. And the second team that should take the spot from them could either be one of two teams. And those two teams are China and South Sudan. Now, the interesting things about China and South Sudan is, in some ways, they're up and coming programs. China has Kyle Anderson, and he has been a little helpful to them. We saw China in the DBB Super Cup in Germany, and they weren't that good. They really are the level of New Zealand, and they're not very good for Canada against them for sure. But in this group, China has a shot to actually get to the second round. It's going to really be dependent on Kyle Anderson helping them. And then the South Sudan team is very interesting because they're a hotshot first timer at World Cup, and they could make some noise right away because they are very athletic and very, like, in some ways, they're kind of a wild card. People should be a little worried about South Sudan. They do have an NBA player. They have Wenyen Gabriel of the Lakers on that team. And, this is the thing. It's kind of like these teams have like one superstar from NBA level. China's got Kyle Anderson. Wenyen Gabriel is on South Sudan. And then Tremont Waters is on Puerto Rico. So you tell me, in that battle, is this G League barely in the league? Tremont Waters going to win that battle? No. I'll bet you Wenyen Gabriel is going to get through this one. I don't think China's going to get through either. I think South Sudan is actually going to advance in Group B with Serbia. So it'll be South Sudan making a surprise and telling everybody, well, we're here. Luol Deng has worked hard with this team to bring them up to speed to be ready for international play. And I think the overwhelming talent of this team may come out here and shock people. Seriously. And they do have an NBA player. They have Gabriel. So South Sudan could be a very surprising team in the first round of FIBA World Cup and could upset China and Puerto Rico and get to the second round over them with Serbia in Group B. So that's my little overview of Group B right now. And my prediction is South Sudan and Serbia getting to the second round in that group. All right, the next group is Group C, and this is the group with the USA in it. Now, of course, USA is probably just going to go right on through this group, no problem at all. In fact, we see two teams that are real slouches for them, Jordan and New Zealand. Of course, we talked about Jordan yesterday with Rondé Hollis-Jefferson being their best player. And then New Zealand, we saw play against Canada in the DBB Super Cup in Germany, and we absolutely trounced them. So I don't have any faith in those two teams. And the other team is Greece. Now, Greece does not have Giannis. And that would be a huge factor if they had Antetokounmpo. It would be really helpful. But they have Thurs. They have his brother, and he may be their best player on their team, which is crazy. Thurs and Antetokounmpo. So he's going to be the guy with the broad shoulders trying to carry Greece instead of his brother. Well, we know the difference in level of play between Giannis and Thurs. So, yeah, Greece has definitely got a dull edge to them, not as sharp if they have their man, the Greek freak. So Greek's going to get to the second round still because New Zealand's not that good, and neither is Jordan. So Greece should get to the second round still, but they're going to be out in the next round for sure because they just don't have the same. They have the chemistry like Italy does. They have the experience like Italy does, but they don't have the talent and the star power to keep up with most of the teams, the important teams at FIBA World Cup. So in the Group C, I see the USA and Greece advancing to the next round. So there you go, Group C. Group D, we're looking at Group D next. And the America's team we got to look out for is Mexico in this group. And well, I'm going to tell you right now, they're probably not going to get past the first round for sure because there's some very strong teams in this group. They're the weakest team in their group. We've got, first of all, the big juggernaut, Lithuania, who's been embarrassed in recent years, being put out early in certain competitions, and they want to come back to prominence in FIBA basketball around the world. So Jonas Valanciunas and those guys are showing up to make the name of Lithuania big again. And it's really Jonas is the main NBA guy for them. And they've got the kid from Orlando and also from Canada, Brazidius, but no Domantas Sabonis, which is unfortunate because he really would have helped them a lot if he was going to be there. But still, Lithuania should dominate this Group D and make a real strong statement that Lithuania is back on the map as a basketball power in the world. I'm expecting that. I'm rooting for Lithuania. They're one of the teams I really like, and especially to beat up on Mexico and make sure Mexico goes out. Now, the second best team in Group D is Montenegro, and that's a team led by Nikola Vucevic. Vucevic is on this team for them. So in this group, there's actually the best teams have two big centers, Vucevic and Valanciunas. And those two teams are the ones I'm going to predict are going to advance over Mexico and Egypt in that group. So I fully expect Montenegro to be successful behind Nikola Vucevic's leadership and Lithuania to be successful behind Jonas Valanciunas' leadership. So that's the look at Group D. So there is a very good thing that Mexico could probably get eliminated in the first round. And along with Puerto Rico, these would be very good. Dominican has a good chance, though, to get the second round, just so you know, out of the other teams. And of course, USA will most likely get into the second round for sure. Group E is the group of death, the one that they're calling. It is a crazy group. This is the one being played in Okinawa with Japan and Australia, Finland, and Germany. So all four of these teams are very strong and have very strong NBA percentages of players on their team. So this is really a very fun competitive group to watch for FIBA World Cup. And, you know, the predictions in this group could go any way. In fact, you could pick, other than Japan, who really doesn't have much of a chance in some ways, partly because, you know, Germany and Australia are really, really dominant. And that is probably who's going to get through this group. Dennis Schroeder and the German team we've seen a couple times in the last week. We beat them in overtime. They beat us. You know, this is a very, very strong team. And we've seen how big they are. And with the Wagners and Daniel Tice, they have a very strong NBA talent level to their team. So I fully expect Germany to get through their group, a Group E of death in Japan. And then Australia is just stacked also. Oh my gosh. So many NBA players on Australia's team also, like Patty Mills, Josh Giddey, Joe Ingles. Yeah, they've got a very, very good, smart team also. The problem with Australia is Josh Giddey's only played one game ever for Australia, and they're trying to integrate him very quickly. Well, he's a smart player, and he's a very giving player. So I could see him not having much problem with this, but his experience in this kind of play is not very much. And that to expect too much from Josh Giddey to carry this team in certain ways would be stupid. So, but Australia's got quite a few NBA players. They're one of the teams that has a lot of NBA players, so they're going to do very well. And I expect them to advance with Germany to the second round. So Australia and Germany are the ones I feel like will go past things in Group E. Now, Finland has Lauri Markkanen, and they are up and coming team, and they did very well at Euro Cup last year. But I just don't see it. It's close, though. They could surprise and upset either Germany or Australia and get to the second round. But I don't think it's likely. I really do think Germany and Australia should just move to the next part after Group E. And Finland and Japan will be, unfortunately, not getting any further. But Yuta will get his shine, and from the home court in the initial games at least. So, yeah, there's my picks for Group E, Germany and Australia. They're easy picks, honestly, in some ways, but Finland could surprise. That very much. We'll see what Markkanen does. He really is the key. Group F, the enemy is Venezuela. And I'll tell you right now, Venezuela doesn't really have anybody on their team. And in some ways, they've been very shaky at times recently. So I'm not as worried about them. Hopefully, they can get eliminated in the first round in Group F. The best team in their division is Slovenia with Luka Doncic. he should dominate this group. Once again, just like Bogdan Bogdanovic is dominating in Serbia's group, well, Luka Doncic and Slovenia should dominate their group. They've got Cape Verde and Georgia with Venezuela. And I think it's likely now. This is the thing: Georgia's an up and coming group, and they've actually been getting better and better too. They got Sandro Mamaluka or whatever, the guy who was on the Bucks, who's now on the Spurs at this point. They have a little bit of a contingency of NBA players, which is going to help them. Georgia's a little bit of an up and coming power in basketball, but not like something that's like Finland or Latvia. They're kind of coming, but they could give a good run against Venezuela. They need to be better than Venezuela at least. And that could be very competitive. So Georgia and Venezuela is another key matchup to watch. We want Georgia to beat Venezuela. So we're rooting for Samro Mamaluco or whatever his name is from the Bucks that went to the Spurs to beat Venezuela because we want Venezuela killed and put out. It will be helpful to America, to Canada, so that we can get to the next round. So my picks in this group, and this is partly because I really want this to happen, is Slovenia and Georgia to overcome Cape Verde and Venezuela. Now, Cape Verde's just happy to be there, getting there for the first time as the smallest country that's involved in the FIBA World Cup. It is a huge accomplishment that Cape Verde is just even involved. So don't expect them to get past the next round, the first round. And Group G, we've got the group with Brazil in it. And this is once again, we need these teams around Brazil to kick their butt. And Spain is also in this group. Now, Spain, obviously, we know them pretty well from playing them just recently and beating them in overtime. They are the number one team in FIBA world ranking right now. And they are going to probably dominate this group. We know all about the Juancho Hernan Gomez and Billy Hernan Gomez brothers and Santi Aldama and the rest with them. So they have a good NBA core. Now, Brazil is interesting because in some ways, Brazil is not as flush with talent that's from the NBA at this point. Like they really had the heydays of back in the day of Oscar Schmidt and different guys that really, really carried Brazil to dominance and really winning a lot in FIBA basketball. But they don't have this anymore. In some ways, there's not as many Brazilian players in the league at this point. Bruno Caboclo is one of the main important players for Brazil, of course. And then they have who's their one guy that is in the league and actually doing stuff? Oh, Neto, Raul Neto. So really, the two main players for Brazil are Raul Neto, the little guard that played for the Wizards, and Bruno Caboclo. But they're in direct competition with Canada once again, and we need to see them stomped out. And so our friends in this group to take them out are Spain and, well, the other two teams. This is where I think Brazil is going to get through. Now, Ivory Coast is interesting. If Ivory Coast can step up and do something, that will really, really help us out. But I'm not dependent on them just in case, because it may be a tall order for them to do that. So, yeah, Ivory Coast and Iran. Iran are in this group, and I don't know. Like, I don't have any faith in the Iranian team or the Ivory Coast team. So I do think Brazil will advance, and there's somebody that we're going to have to beat and get further by getting past the second round to beat them. Now, this is the problem. When we get the second round, we're going to get Spain and France, and there'll be four teams. And we need to be one of the two teams that advances out of the four. And the two of the other teams that'll be in our group with us will probably be Spain and France. So, yeah, this is going to be tough. We're going to have to eliminate either Spain or France in the second round for Canada to get to the Olympics. So that's what I'm talking about right there. It could very well be Brazil, Spain, Canada, and France in our second round matchups. And we need to eliminate Brazil for sure. And then we got to figure out a way to get Spain or France out of the tournament so Canada can go forward with the other one. So yeah, this is gonna be that's gonna be the really tough part in the second round. So that's why we need to beat France right away. If we can show we can beat France tomorrow, that'll really help us going forward. And because we're gonna have to play them again probably too in the second round also. So it's going to be very, very competitive. I'm predicting it'll be Spain, Brazil, France, and Canada that are in that group in the second round. Of course, our group is Canada, France, Lebanon, and Latvia. Latvia may be the most of a threat of hurting Canada in the first round. Obviously, France should go through, and we should go through also. Lebanon is not going to do anything. But Latvia, their best player with Porzingis out is Davis Bertans. And I'm not afraid of Bertans. Come on. Why should I be afraid of Bertans or his little brother or any of the Latvian team right now? Nah, not afraid of them. So I fully expect Canada and France to advance to the second round, and it's the second round that's going to get crazy. Then you'll have Brazil and Spain and Canada and France in a group, and only two people will go forward. So we need to make sure Canada is one of those two. So there's a real quick overview of all the groups at FIBA and kind of the way I look at it. I see Canada and France with Spain and Brazil in that last group, and then in the next one, Slovenia and Georgia with Germany and Australia in that group. And then you got Lithuania, Montenegro with USA and Greece. So that'll be an interesting group. And then Serbia with South Sudan and Dominican Republic and Italy. So there, I expect probably Dominican and Brazil and USA and Canada out of the 7 teams from the Americas will advance to the second round. And that means then we got to get 2 of those other teams out of there. The U.S. will not be one of them. So really, we need Brazil and Dominican to fail. We need them to fail. And we just need to get past those 2 teams, and we'll be in good shape. All right, let me check in with you guys' chat at this point. Thanks for bearing with me, and hopefully that was a good overview to kind of give you guys the lay of the land for what we're looking at FIBA in Jakarta tomorrow with Team Canada, and understanding what is exactly has got to happen. Yeah, Nameless is saying, why do I feel like there's an FU Canada behind this lawsuit? I don't know if it's exactly that. I don't know. Once again, I don't want to talk about this too much, Nameless. In some ways, people are not covering it. Obviously, Adam Silver has asked, Stillman was saying in the chat in Raptor Freak chat on Facebook, that the NBA is not happy about this. They don't want to shine a light on it or put much news out about it. So NBA officials ignoring the Knicks lawsuit, and NBA accounts and NBA people are not talking about it because they don't want it to be there. They really aren't happy with it. So Monique is here. Good morning to the super fan, Monique Lawrence. Good morning, everyone. Go Canada. 5th power ranking ain't bad. Yeah, let's look at these power rankings real quick. I got them in front of me. Spain, number 1. USA. No, oh, wait, that's the FIBA ranking. I'll go look at the power ranking like you have it. I feel like, actually, you're right. We are 5th in the power ranking. I don't have it right available for me right now. I have the actual FIBA rankings, and we're still ranked pretty far down, but we're going to rise up. We're actually 15th officially right now going into the tournament, but we're at 5th in the power rankings, and that usually does say something more than the FIBA rankings are really adjusted after you do something. So the power rankings are kind of based on promise and talent and strength and what they're showing, but they'll get adjusted. The FIBA rankings will get adjusted after this tournament. So right now we're currently 15th, but on the power rankings we're 5th. And I like that. Fiercey's here. Good morning, fam, and happy Thursday. Supporting Canada. Yes. Go Canada. You're in Indonesia. Beat France tomorrow, and we'll all meet Nietzsche. Dana's saying, good morning, everybody. There's Canadian Dana with the Raptor heads. I love it. Daryl Turner's in the house. Good to see Daryl. It's been a bit. Raptor Freak Daryl Turner. Always happy to see people return and come back. You're always welcome to come back. I know everybody's busy, and sometimes they don't have time to come join us in the chat. But when I see familiar faces or familiar names in this case, is always happy to see them back. How's it going, Daryl? Good to see you. Good morning, Raptor Freak and Raptor Freak chat. What's up? I just saw this video titled, and it caught my interest because I see a sleeper in Brazil, surprisingly, with right schedule that could win it. Yeah, I know Brazil's talented, and they've always been a world power, but I don't have faith in them right now. In some ways, it's Bruno Caboclo is who's carrying that team. And I love Bruno for his part in the Raptors history and stuff like that. But in some ways, nah, come on, man. Raul Neto and Caboclo, we're rooting against them because they're directly in competition with Canada to get to the Olympics. There's only 2 spots. USA is probably going to take one of them. and Canada needs to get that other one, and Brazil's trying to get that other one also at the same time. So I don't wish this, Daryl. As much as you think they're a sleeper, I don't want them to do nothing. We want Brazil to be very unsuccessful, at least if we're rooting for Canada. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at the roster, and like I said, there's been great Brazilian players in the past, bigger names and more flashier rosters for Brazil than the one that they currently have right now. Now, they may have done well recently. I mean, maybe I should go look at what they did in their qualifier. In their qualifying games, they might have played very well, actually. All right, I need to do this better. This site is weird because it's one long page, and I keep having to scroll really far to find stuff. So let me just go directly to it, and we'll see what they did in their qualifiers. Brazil. All right, so Brazil, as I said, they've only got Neto, who's really the only NBA player on their team right now at this point. In some ways, I'm gauging power rankings on this by how many NBAers there are. Okay, they have a guy from Santa Cruz Warriors also, Guilherme Santos, and then Bruno. Of course, Bruno is on this team also. Now, let's see. Their average age is 28 years old. Okay, they have one NBA player, one G League player, and their record in preparation games is 3-2. They did beat South Sudan. They did beat Australia already, and that's part of why people are saying, "Oh, they could do this," because if they beat Australia before, well, they can beat them again. Let's see. They also beat Venezuela, but they did lose to Italy and Serbia. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't see it, and I'm definitely not rooting for it, Daryl. But great to see you back. G saying some of these groups are strong and some very weak. Doesn't seem balanced. Actually, when I was digging through them and looking at them, they do make sense. In some ways, they do. They kind of like, this sucks. Like our draw was not favorable, obviously. Having a team higher seeded than us was tough. But you know what? We're not a top seed in FIBA yet. We haven't earned that yet. And that's part of it. It's on longevity and history and what you've done before. And Canada's a new kid on the block. We have to earn our top spot. So we're the second banana in our group, with France being the top dog in our spot. And that's why it's harder for us. But in some ways, we have first level talent, and we got to prove that this time. Like people have been saying all this week, to be the man, you got to beat the man. And that's really what Canada has to do. We got to start beating the man, whether it's the US, Spain, France, it doesn't matter. Australia, I don't care who it is. We got to beat all these top world teams. And that's how we get our top spot and being the badasses around the world. And this team is gunning for it. And we have the talent and the ability to do this. Coach Jordi Fernandez press release yesterday saying we are confident that we have assembled a collection of talent that can compete to win this whole thing. And I believe them. And I'm all about seeing this kind of thing happen for Canada this year. So, yeah, I know that some of the groups, like in particular, Dennis's group is tough. The German group that they're in with is so tough that all four of those teams are very good. I don't want to slight Japan. Japan is actually pretty good too. But out of those four, they're the ones that are going to have the toughest time. But yeah, that group of Australia, Germany, and Japan, and what's the other one? Finland. That's a group of death for sure. And they're saying our group is the second group of death, just because that's a very tough group, also with Latvia, France, and Canada. So I get it. I get what you're saying. Well, you put the U.S. in any group, they're going to make the rest of the group look weak. Let's just put it that way. And that's where we want to be. We want to be that kind of team where we're like a number one seed and we get weak opponents because of our record. That's part of why they did that for the U.S. because they've been dominant for so long. They get favored partly for that. It's all factored into FIBA and how they do it. So let's see. Cool Cat saying, good morning, Rapid Free crew. A bit late in joining, woefully behind. No problem, Cool Cat. Well, you can always catch up with me. I sometimes put it on 1.5 speed. I recommend that for anybody who's not watching me live. Put it on 1.5 speed. It'll save you some time during the day, and you'll hear me just as clearly. And sometimes I'm better and more funny when I'm fast. Fiercely saying, I read 2 players were cut from the Team Canada roster, and Eddie is definitely in. Do we know why they were cut? Was it because of their performance? This is a great question, Fiercely. Yes. Team Canada announcing yesterday that Cherry and Phil Scrubb were cut from the team. And it's really just because I think they just want to trim 12-man roster. There's no reason to carry these guys forward. And it may very well be the rules that World Cup makes everybody cut down to 12 players. It's kind of like we do a preliminary getting ready for it to try and figure out. It's like they're doing training camp in these friendlies that we just did. And it's really Jordi Fernandez kind of sussing out who he wants to keep on the team for when they get there. So these guys all had a chance, but I think maybe they have to cut it down to 12 for the World Cup, that everybody, all the teams officially just have 12 players on the team. So we made our final cuts. And in fact, I'm looking at a very fantastic picture of our final team. I'll go over it right now. The Canada basketball FIBA men's basketball World Cup roster for 2023 is Lugetz Dort, Nickel Alexander Walker, Shea Gilgis Alexander, Melvin Ejim, Dwight Powell, RJ Barrett, Kyle Alexander, Kelly Olynyk, Zach Eddy, Phil Scrubb, Dylan Brooks, and Trey Bell Haynes. So yeah, they cut Cherry and Thomas Scrubb from the team. So one of the Scrubs is still on the team, but it's just the last minute cuts just before they start, because I think they can only have 12 is what it is. I think all the rest of the teams in World Cup are doing the same thing. They may have extended rosters of 17 or 15 or 14, and they just got to cut a few people that aren't going to make that last final roster to play. I don't know the regulations or the rules, but I'm guessing that's what it is, Fiercey. I think if we could carry 14 people into the competition, we would, and we would make any cuts, because it's good to have that kind of ability to have backups and injured reserve, of course. Wayne is here. Good to see Wayne Strainer. Always good to see Rapper Freak Wayne. Canada has top tier talent and a good coach. We achieve higher levels by beating these teams. Let's do it. That's one of the things that's going to be so rewarding and fun if they are successful at World Cup, is they're going somewhere they've never gone before. And as a country, you know, if you're a proud Canadian and you love rooting for Canada in international sports, this is our time to feel good and have fun and see success and really get behind it. I really hope people will join me tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. for a watch along of Team Canada versus France on this channel. I won't be broadcasting the game, obviously, but I will be giving commentary during the game from my own perspective, which has been very fun in the friendlies so far. So yeah, I agree with this, Wayne. To be the man, you got to beat the man, and it's time for Canada to step up and start beating the man tomorrow. 9:30 a.m. France, you're going down. That's right, you're going down. Canada, baby, that's right. We may speak French in Quebec. We may be bilingual. Maybe we'll talk trash to you in your native language, except with a little bit of a French Canadian accent. Yeah, you go, Luget's Dort. Yeah, yeah, let's see that. That's right. Cool Cat saying, are we only getting Canada FIBA games or the entire FIBA account? I don't know. I don't know how people are accessing to watch FIBA in these games. It is very, very much encouraged if you can watch some of the other games, because there's going to be fantastic basketball all over the place without, Canada games themselves. You can watch US, you can watch Australia, you can watch Spain, you can watch Germany. You will enjoy it. It's going to be fantastic. And part of the World Cup, it really does have that Olympic feel of the different nations and them battling and stuff like that. It's going to be so much fun. You know, I forgot about the history of the World Cup here in Toronto. We had it in 1994 at the Sky Dome. And that was the first year of the World Cup that they evolved NBA players and professional players from around the world. It totally changed the landscape of what the FIBA World Cup means, because professional players were added and allowed. For the longest time, you had to be amateur. And as soon as you declared for being a professional, you couldn't compete in FIBA World Cup. So the talent level and what was happening at FIBA World Cup was boring and wasn't exciting or enticing. No, when I was a little kid, I never heard about FIBA World Cup because it was all amateurs. And a lot of it was centered around South America in the early days, and the Americas were doing this tournament. And they added more of Europe and Asia and Africa later on. So 1994's World Cup in Toronto was one of the most crucial, important FIBA World Cups ever, because it was the one where they changed to allowing professional athletes to compete. That was that second dream team, remember, that they brought to Toronto, that they put on blast from the U.S. with like Isaiah Thomas, Steve Smith, Shaquille O'Neal, Hakeem Olajuwon, Karl Malone, a lot of the dream teamers on that team. And that, of course, USA dominated that FIBA World Cup and absolutely won it. Now, would you say after that change that the US would just win all of them after that? And that's not the case. There's very much been Spain's won 2 of them. They're actually the ones who won the last one, and they've won another one before that. And other teams have stepped up and done very well, including Serbia. Serbia is absolutely a very dominant force in basketball and in FIBA World Cup also. So Toronto's part in the FIBA World Cup is huge because we hosted the first ever professional World Cup here in Toronto in 1994 at the Sky Dome. And that was pretty cool. It was actually the preliminary that was testing basketball in this market for us to get the Raptors. So when we did the FIBA World Cup hosting here in Toronto that year, it really greenlighted them wanting to come and make the Raptors happen here in Toronto. They saw that it was a viable market for the economics of supporting an NBA team. And the FIBA World Cup of 1994 was a huge contributor to why we have the Toronto Raptors today. So I love you, FIBA World Cup. But Cool Cat, I mean, listen, I'm sure there's places you can go look and you'll find all the links. I'm sure there's legal ways to do it. I'm sure there's ways to maybe get it on Sportsnet. Who knows? But you know, a lot of these games are going to be live. Like the last game of the day is the one we're watching tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. because it's 9:30 p.m. in Jakarta at that time. So most of these games are starting at like 3:30 in the morning and running till 9:30 in the morning. So if you want to watch live FIBA World Cup, you're gonna have to be a night owl and very much a very deep into the late night owl. So that's part of the problem with watching a lot of the games. I mean, I'm gonna get up and watch Canada's game, but I may not be watching very much of the rest of the FIBA World Cup just because of the workload and the time when they're on. So yeah, G saying, does it seem like Canada has a tougher road than most? Yes, and that's fine. We need that, G. If we're going to really test how good we are, we want the tough road. You know, the easy road makes an easy man. The hard road makes a hard man. And that's the whole thing about this. We don't want to slouch. We want to earn this, and we want to go the hard way. Because in some ways, the hard way is the best way to announce you've arrived. And that's what we want. We want that for Canada. We don't want the easy route. And yes, we do have a hard route compared to most people. And that hard route is called Spain and France. Let's just put it that way. And Brazil. Spain, France, and Brazil. That's that hard route right there. Yeah, Cool Cat saying, yep, that lawsuit, if it goes through, will apply to every team as players, staff, coach, move through teams with data of others' teams that they worked on and worked with. You know, it's a pain in the ass. And I don't know. In some ways, I want to let it go away and just watch the FIBA World Cup and concentrate on that. Whatever happens with that, when there's news like comes up, more stuff comes out, then we'll reintroduce it to the channel. But otherwise, in some ways, I really don't want it to be too much of a thing that we're harping on too much day by day all the time. There's much more important things to talk about than a frivolous, stupid ass lawsuit from James Dolan and MSG. And I'd rather watch talk about FIBA basketball with Canada right now than some frivolous bullshit. And but if there's big news stories that come out and developments of more developing of the story, we'll definitely cover it here and keep everybody as informed as possible. But yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. The implications from all this, there could be some crazy fallout and repercussions over the years because of the Knicks' litigiousness. Idiots. They're idiots, I tell you. G saying that makes sense. Or RE Canada's path. Well, it's just how we got to do it, man. And I'd rather, in some ways, I like the challenge. I like the challenge. Let's take on the top dogs. You know, if you're a wrestler, you want to fight the champion. You don't waste your time fighting the light heavyweight champion, the hardcore champion, the intercontinental champion. You want to go and get that champion, Roman Reigns, right away. And that's what I'm saying. We need to go and take out Spain, France, USA, because those are the champ kind of teams in this competition. So why not play them right away, Spain and France, and then maybe hopefully get a chance to play the USA in the finals? This is ultimately something we really want is USA Canada finals in this FIBA World Cup this year. And that will be a badass matchup right there. Oh, yeah, you know it will be. Yeah, it will. Yeah, it will. Trevor J saying that WNBA game last night between Mercury and Sparks, the score was 91 for Sparks and 60 for Mercury. Yeah, the Phoenix Mercury have had trouble with injuries this year. Of course, they had the return of their starting center, Brittany Griner, and Diana Taurasi breaking the record for most points scored in the WNBA this season. They've had some accolades, but they've also had bad luck with health, and their record isn't as good. The Sparks are always a strong team. They've been a strong team since the very beginning of the WNBA, and they have continued to stay that. So yeah, I'm not surprised by that score, considering Tarazi's hurt right now and didn't play. And Brittany Griner's missed games for mental health reasons and other reasons this season also. So the Suns have had a very erratic, I mean, the Mercury have had a very erratic season for their franchise this year. Monique is saying, latest upload by Dennis at Warner Brothers. Yes, Monique, thank you for the cue card. Dennis Schroeder dropping something on YouTube yesterday, a little 9.5 minute clip of him in Dubai with his family, enjoying Warner Brothers theme park in Dubai. His son really liked it there. He was saying, oh, this place is fantastic. I love this place, Daddy. Yeah, he really likes Dubai. It's all cleaned up and rich. Of course you like it, Junior Schroeder. And well, he got his Batman suit on. We saw it on Instagram a couple weeks ago. Junior Schroeder wearing the full Batman suit running around there. You are not Grant Williams. And Grant Williams, you're not Batman. Junior Schroeder is Batman. And that's who's Batman. Yeah, and Ellen in that group, in that clip, is grilling Dennis for his grilling. They show at the end they've arrived in Japan, and he's in one of those little hibachi grill places where you cook your own food. They bring you the food. He's got these little strip steaks, and he's trying to cook them on the grill. And his wife is giving him a hard time. Like, you don't know how to grill, Dennis. What are you doing trying to grill that? And Dennis like, I do know how to grill. I do know how to grill. And she's like, no, you don't. You don't ever grill. He's like, yes, I do. And he's like grilling the little steaks with her at the Japanese restaurant. It's good stuff. As always, I highly encourage people to subscribe and follow Dennis Schroeder and Ellen Schroeder's YouTube channels. They're fun, and you get to see that slice of life and understand who Dennis is. He's a family man, and he's an outstanding athlete in many different sports. So nothing to hate here. I love it. It's like Dennis pointed to his shirt at one point to D Junior. He said, what does my shirt say? And the little kid says, that's tough. I love it so much. Also coming out on YouTube yesterday was another Rico Hines runs clip, the third one from the big week. And this one is dominated by the Pistons and the Clippers being in most of the clips. Very, very little Pascal at the very beginning. We saw Pascal in one game. He had one really nice move, but he was still there and working. And Rico does talk about him at the end of the session, a little bit about Pascal to the group when he's doing his group talk. It was very, very much dominated by the Pistons and the Clippers in the clips. And the Clippers had Norman Powell, which of course he's UCLA. He's Toronto Raptors champion. And it's fun to see Norman there. He wasn't there last summer. It was weird. He took one summer off from Rico Hines runs, and he said he missed it in the clip. He's like, I should have been here last year, but I wasn't. It was the first time I missed it. And Norman belongs there. Holy crap. If you watch the latest Rico Hines runs clip, you'll see Norman Powell dominating and showing that he's the vet. He's the badass. And like, honestly, he looks so good. And some of the Pistons look really, really good in this clip also. That Thompson twin, Osur, he's going to be a really good player. He's going to be a problem. And Jaden Ivey and Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duren were there also. Beef Stew. Big, mainly the starting lineup of the Pistons in the Rico Hines clip from yesterday. And then the Clippers looking really, really strong with Norman, Bones Highland, KJ Martin, those guys running around for them. There were Sixers there still too with Jaden Springer, and Jabari Smith was there, and Kevon Looney. Some of the regulars that have been there a lot. And of course, Pascal right at the beginning. But this isn't very much a Raptors Rico Hines runs clip from yesterday. I definitely encourage people to go watch it. It's entertaining, and you get to see a lot of Norman. Norman absolutely is dominating in that clip. Very, very little Pascal, and no other Raptors otherwise. We do not see the Marquise Noel versus Jaden Ivey clip from TikTok that we've seen recently in this clip. So very little Raptors and no sign of Scotty. So if you want to watch that Rico Hines clip, watch it, but watch it for Norman. Watch it for Playoff Powell because he's there. Yeah, thank you, Monique, for the comment. Daryl saying also, before I get off, did you hear all the recent news about the resurgence of pro wrestling promotions with ticket sales and TV viewing for WWE and AEW doing Barbie, Taylor Swift, and Beyonce numbers? Well, this is good. In some ways, wrestling needs a revitalization. I was just talking with my father about how it's Vince McMahon's birthday today. He turned 78, and how he destroyed wrestling. Really did by monopolizing it. He destroyed the territory days. And for wrestling to be healthy, it needs a territory system. It really, really, really does. And in some ways, if Vince retires and there's more independent wrestling that gets stronger on the fringes of wrestling, it's good for wrestling because wrestlers need different places to go. They don't learn if there's only one place to go. And if they get hurt and they get fired, they don't have anywhere to go. They don't learn anything. That's why the territory system was so important. So this is good. I want the wrestling to get back to what it used to be, and less of this Cirque du Soleil bullshit that they're doing, or this over needlessly hardcore bullshit, or any of this. Let's get back to realism to a degree and make it feel like it could be real instead of this such fake shit they're doing. So hopefully there's a resurgence and a revitalization to allow wrestling to get somewhere back where they were in the 70s, maybe. That would be fantastic when the territories were strong. Yes, yes, I love it, Daryl. I love it so much. Happy birthday to Vince, even though you destroyed wrestling. Guardian saying you must be at the cottage. I am at the cottage. I've been at the cottage for a few days now. You love this beautiful scenery. It's a beautiful yard and stuff. Yeah, I've been really enjoying being out here, cutting grass, fighting buckthorn, hanging out with my folks, playing a lot of Scrabble, stuff like that. Yeah. Fiercely saying, gotta go, fam. We'll join the live reaction tomorrow AM. Lex, will there be a link to the game like the last time? Fiercely, you know I got you hook up. You don't ever have to worry about those kind of things. If I'm able to watch it, you'll be able to watch it too. So yeah, we'll have that for you. Don't worry. I always take care of Raptor Freak family. You know that. Tom Duke saying, yeah, Guardian Transit, you could hear his pet raptor streaking in the background. You know, there is some weird droppings over at the edge of the woods over there, and they're kind of big. And I'm like wondering what that was. You know, in some ways, you got to measure the droppings. Does anybody know of a good app where you can like take pictures of doo doo on the ground and it will tell you what animal it is? Because I was looking for that on the Google store yesterday. I couldn't find an app for that. In some ways, I need to take a picture of this poop just so I know what's around the house right now. Yeah, maybe I'll post a picture of the poop in my comments in this channel comments so you guys can look at it and y'all can maybe tell me what kind of poop it is. Should I be posting that shit? Literally? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Do y'all know your poop? Because I need to find out what that poop is because there may be a big animal around our house somewhere. Maybe it is a raptor. Trevor J saying just announced on ESPN that Shannon is coming on September 4th to join Stephen A. Smith's morning show. What a pairing. What a match made in heaven. I know, you know, when they started talking about it, and it was like, oh, go ahead, just kiss. Y'all are like, oh, I'm thinking about going on first on his show. Yeah, Stephen A. Smith's show. Oh, because Skip kicked me the curb, or I'm not with Skip anymore. I left him, and now I'm going to go join Stephen A. Well, we knew you were going to do that. You guys just go together, birds together, flock together, whatever. You media heads, idiots. In some ways, this is non-news, Trevor. David is saying, wow, he bailed on Skip for Stephen A. Smith. Well, yeah. I mean, they were at a point, I don't think they ever liked each other. Did you ever feel like Skip and Shannon liked each other? No, I don't think they did. And I think he just got fed up at a certain point. It's like, Skip, you are not only causing problems, like you annoy me as a person, but you're causing problems for my friends. Like, first of all, the way you talk about some of my friends really pisses me off. And that may be part of it right there. Yeah, good to see you, David. Cool Cat saying it seems Pascal is now in Cameroon with his school's academy basketball program in camp. This man's just jet setting, hopping, continental person all over continents, Europe, North America, Africa. He's just everywhere. Maybe he'll show up in Asia for the World Cup just to support some team. I don't know. That's great. I'll have to find. I didn't know that because I haven't seen it anywhere. But thank you for the tip, Cool Cat. Of course, Cool Cat's gonna know where Pascal is. If I need to know where Pascal is, I'm gonna ask Cool Cat because Cool Cat will know. Trevor's saying if you have a smart TV, invest in a Fire Stick and you can watch every game. You will get all the American channels. You know, Adriana just got one of these Fire Sticks at her house, so maybe I'll investigate it tomorrow and see if it actually does help with watching this stuff. All right, this looks like David Saborn has gifted free membership to this channel, y'all. So let's see who randomly gets the free membership from David Saborn. Thank you, David, for being such a great patron, a patronage of this channel. Your patronage is very, very much valued and very, very much so grateful for it. So grateful for it, David. Cool Cat saying, oh wait, Trevor's saying, okay, that's Trevor said that. All right, I'm on Randolph. Randolph saying, Lex, tickets went on sale 2 days ago for the exhibition game between Detroit and Oklahoma City and Montreal, and they were sold out in minutes. Wow. Basketball is well supported here in Montreal. I love to hear that. Blessings to Montreal, blessings to Randolph Phillips, blessings to the Raptor Freak family and the Phillips family. And that is fantastic. This is similar to what happened last year in the Canada series. You think about Edmonton last year selling out very quickly. You think about Montreal selling out last year very quickly. Yeah, this is good, and it shows that the country of Canada is very interested and hungry to see more basketball in their neck of the woods. So there you go. Good job, Montreal, selling out in minutes for that Oklahoma City versus Detroit game. It's not even the Raptors, and y'all are selling it out. I know y'all want to see SGA. I know y'all want to see Lugetz Dort, your hometown hero. And yes, I love it. Good job, Montreal. I'm so proud of you. Keep selling out like that. Cool Cat saying, Trevor J, the Fire Stick is all NBA FIBA, all FIBA games. I don't know anything about Fire Sticks, but I will investigate this a little bit with her tomorrow because she got one all of a sudden. I don't know what this Fire Stick or anything about in the technology, but I'll find out. Yeah, we're going to figure this out. Quick Takes is here. Bless up, Raptor Freaks, 100%. Thank you, NBA Quick Takes. Once again, y'all, a great NBA channel with great basketball opinions, all kinds of insight, really knowledgeable stuff. Check out NBA Quick Takes. This is a great channel on YouTube to follow and join their live stream. It's very interactive, just like my stream here. They will check your comments and they will interact with you and talk to you on there too. I like these kind of channels. Sure, there's a lot of content makers that make their content and produce it, make it real nice and shiny, over edit it and put it out like that. But no, the artists they can go on the fly and do things live, like NBA Quick Takes and myself. I have a lot of respect for that because there's no net when you're sitting out here and there's some bird yelling at you from the woods. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Sometimes when I'm out here, I'll talk to them. I'll try and mimic them to see if they're. I'm gonna be that guy who stands with the bird seed with his hand out and they just fly and jump in my hand. In some ways, I'm aspiring to become a Disney princess in my older age. Yeah, yeah. I want to get in touch with nature and that kind of connection for real. That's why I need to know whose poop that is, so I know what animal I'm dealing with, so I can be friends with it. Yeah. All right, let's see. David Sabornson, great photo idea for the next thumbnail. You have a great idea for the next thumbnail. I'm gonna have to find out. The poop? You want me to put the poop as my photo for my next stream? Oh, we're getting all ready for cheering on Canada. We're gonna get patriotic tomorrow. That's right. Team Canada versus France. Let's go. Raptor Quick Take saying Raptor shit. Shit, yeah. I mean, it's like, I don't know, it's about this big. Is you kind of think about the size of it compared to the body that would come out of? Yeah, it seems like it might have been like, I don't know, at least coyote size, maybe a little bigger, maybe a little bigger. It could be a bear. That's the thing I'm wondering about. Is it bear poop? That could be very, all right, let's see. Tom Duke is saying, nice one, David. Yeah. And Trevor J saying, if you have a Fire Stick, you can watch every sports, basketball, soccer, world sports, all NBA games, track and field. Awesome. Well, this is good to know about this. And Quick Take saying, thank you, sir. You're welcome for sure. All right, let me see. If you guys don't want to talk too much more, I'll go ahead and wrap things up in some ways. Oh, we need to do the Instagram check, of course. There's always stuff for me to do. All right, first, Instagram check. Jonas Valanciunas has got the Lithuanian flag over his shoulder, and he's wearing the Lithuanian outfit, ready for his FIBA experience. We are rooting for you. I'm rooting for you, Jonas. In some ways, you're helpful to us to beat any America's team in your group. In your groups, decimate teams from the Americas on your side of things because you're nowhere near us, and we need your help. And as a former Raptor, we love you, and we want to see Lithuania do well. Dennis Schroeder has got this is a funny clip. The Raptors official got to Dennis Schroeder somehow, and they're asking him to complete Drake lyrics. And he knew 2 out of 3 of them. So I'm pretty proud of him. He knew running through the 6 with my woes. And then he knew, what was the other one he knew? He knew running through the 6 with my woes. And he knew started from the bottom, now we're here. But he did not get Hotline Bling, which was interesting. Yeah, he didn't get Hotline Bling, but he knows his stuff. And once again, Dennis is everywhere. Like, seriously, this dude is liking Raptors content on Raptors Official. He's going and liking Grady Dick stuff. He's going and liking Scotty stuff. He's going and liking Pascal stuff. He's going and liking Isaac Bonga stuff. He's going and liking Yuta Watanabe stuff. It's crazy. Dennis Schroeder is just on social media liking everything everywhere. Like, really, go follow Dennis and then go see how much you see him liking things around the Raptors right now. This man's doing research and really, in some ways, ingratiating himself to his new teammates by being very supportive on social media. He likes everybody's posts like crazy right now. He's on everybody's posts, liking stuff right now. Dennis Schroeder. I love it. I love the support, even if it's on social media and it's weird. But yeah, Dennis has posted his YouTube on there. He's telling everybody to go check it out. And of course, he's getting ready. And there he is with his grill skills on his Instagram. You can see it in the stories too. All right, let's see who else we got. Your boy Scotty is looking really strong in this picture right here. And that looks like the Rico runs from the clips we're going to get in the next day or so. We may get another Rico Hines runs clip today that'll have Scotty Barnes in it. I'm waiting for it because this looks like the one where he's actually playing in this picture right here. So Scotty and also Chris looks like they are both at Rico Hines runs for this one. So this is good. I knew Chris went to LA because he's at the Drake concert and after his Ottawa camp. So he should be in some of these Rico Hines runs clips also coming up. Of course, Scotty's best buddy, Jay, it's his birthday today. So he's wishing him happy birthday. Lloyd also wishing Jay a happy birthday on his Instagram also. Mr. New York City celebrating Kobe because of his birthday recently. He had his 45th birthday. And of course, he's passed. They all want to honor the great Kobe Bryant. And then Marquise has got a picture of his look that he's got, and he's reading a book. This is the book that Marquise Noel is reading in a pit with a lion on a snowy day. It's How to Survive and Thrive When Opportunity Roars. And that's what he's reading before he goes to sleep, apparently. Chris Boucher, as I said, he's got funny, jokey stuff. He's got his stuff from Montreal when he's doing his camp. And then, yeah, there's a picture of him at Rico Hines runs wearing the Raptors white T-shirt with the long pants. And he's definitely playing at Rico runs also. So we're going to see him in some of the clips. And then he's got a UFC clip that he put on blast there. Precious is just being artsy, man. He's posting all these black and white pictures. He's got fall, winter, Modern Man 3. Modern Man 3 is coming out. He's the Modern Man, Fall, Winter, Modern Man 3. There you go. I like it. And yeah, he's just putting his brand on blast. Maybe he's seen Pascal and how he's doing his whole imagery and kind of building his aura and his online presence. Well, Precious is putting that kind of quality and interesting stuff into his online content also. And I applaud it. Good job, Precious. You're looking good. Malachi Flynn has his camp coming up in Tacoma, Washington. It's the Malachi Flynn basketball camp. It is starting this weekend, and he'll be taking the top high school kids in Washington and camping with them this weekend in Tacoma. So good stuff, Malachi. Wishing you all the best for the season coming up. Superfan Monique Lawrence has posted Dennis Schroeder with his Drake lyrics also. So always follow Monique. She is a fantastic follow on there. I want to check in on Charles Oakley since we were talking about him yesterday and maybe him possibly doing some work for the Raptors in this against the lawsuit from the Knicks. And he's got a picture of somebody decorated their apartment with a nice big picture of Oakley on a mural on a wall. And that's just sweet and nice to look. Very classy, Charles Oakley. And then we got Thad Young, of course, putting on something on blast always. It's the Players TV. You know what it is? This is pretty cool. Thad Young is putting on blast Players TV, which is a new television channel that's owned and run by the players. And it's saying a new era in athlete media. Fans can now become owners in the world's first ever athlete fan owned media company. So it's not just the players that own it, but the fans also. This is a very interesting endeavor, this Players TV stuff. And I can see some very big names are attached to it and involved in it. I'm betting Thad is on the ground level with it also. That's fantastic, cool stuff. And then Siakam, we got him. He's in the American facility for Red Bull, working out, it looks like. And yeah, he was saying he's at the APC, at APC. Hang on. Red Bull in North America. This was saying Red Bull North America getting active at the APC. Yeah. All right, good stuff. That's your Instagram check for the Raptors today. All right, let's see what else you guys are saying here, real quickly. Who took that gifted membership? Who took the gifted membership? I don't see anybody who took it yet. There's a membership that's still there. Quick takes or somebody click on that membership box and take that membership that's just sitting there. David's got a gifted membership for anybody to take. Guardian Transit, Daryl Turner, you guys, Cool Cat, get in there. Wayne Strainer, somebody take that free gift from David Saborn right now. Nameless, Tobias, any of these people who do not have the green in your name, you can take that right now. Cool Cat, take it. Take it. Randolph Phillips, take it. Somebody take it. All right, let's see. Where are we at? Isaac's got the bird, the Twitter bird, the beaver, myself, and the poop, and the cup. Yeah, you got to go through the shit to get to the cup. Yeah, it's quick take saying, do you think Jonas could have played the position Gasol did for us or better? That's a great question. Thank you, NBA Quick Takes. All right, who's taking it? Or is this another one? Isaac Campbell has gifted a membership. So there's 2 memberships out there, y'all. 2 of y'all could be members now. So just click it. Click the little green box with a little gift in it. That's a gift to take. Go get it. All right, getting back to Quick Takes question. I don't think so. Because in some ways, we were hitting the ceiling with what we were doing with Valanciunas. And in some ways, we needed that veteran leadership of Marc Gasol for the last run. In fact, that last trade of trading Jonas Valanciunas to get Marc Gasol really put us over the top to help us get the championship. And it's part of the genius of Masai in that year. Having the balls to do the Kawhi Leonard deal for that 1 year, knowing you may only get him for 1 year. Well, he knew he was on the clock, and that's why he went and made that bold move to get Marc Gasol to put it over the top. It really reminded me at that time when that happened of the Blue Jays in the early 90s when they really, like mid-season, they knew they were a World Series contender and they made big moves and they bring in somebody like John Olerud or something like that, or Paul Molitor. That's what that made me feel like. They were like, we know we're going for a championship and we're going to really, really reinforce our chances to win it by getting somebody like Marc Gasol. So in a lot of ways, no, because I don't think Jonas Valanciunas could have played the defense that Mark played on Joel Embiid. And then also the passing of Marc Gasol and some of his very smart stuff on defense is just, it's not totally in Jonas. It's not a diss to Jonas. He's a very strong, good player. But there's things about Mark that are more passing and team oriented that were helpful and important for our championship run. So I'll say no, we probably couldn't. And this is a similar kind of question, just like the DeMar versus Kawhi. If we replaced Kawhi with DeMar, could we do it? I'd probably say no on that one also. Even though I love those guys and they were great Raptors and they've done so many good things in their career. Let's be real with things. I mean, I am a very positive Raptors fan, but I am also a realist. And I'll say it was absolutely important to get Mark. So yeah, it couldn't have done that different other way. Cool Cat saying Scotty's looking bigger and for shredded. Yeah. Scotty is looking once again like huge. Like last year, he looked big going into the season. He looks another level of even bigger. Look, Isaac Campbell's putting Monique on blast. I love it. Look at so many Moniques there. We got starting 5 of Monique starting for the Raptors there. Tom Duke saying approximately 7 weeks to go. He's counting down for the season. When does Mo start her countdown? That's right. Mo, you had your countdown earlier in the summer last year. This year, you know what? I think Mo's very pleased by the Rico runs, by the FIBA World Cup action. So she's got a little bit to be appetized with, basketball hunger for right now. So maybe she's not feeling as much, partly because we got Team Canada. It's very exciting. In fact, this is going to take us right up till September 10th, this tournament. So we are going to get a few weeks eaten up by this FIBA World Cup. And I will dominate this channel with FIBA World Cup while it's going on. Yeah, there will be Raptors news, of course, daily and all the important stuff going on. But this could very well be very heavy on FIBA Canada stuff. Yeah, very soon. Let's see. Cool Cat saying, I really appreciate how we encourage our Raptors players to think of themselves as a brand. They have entrepreneurial spirit. Yes. In some ways, people have been controlling as employers to employees to not allow them to branch out and make their own money on the side. The WWE for a while was really gross with not letting wrestlers do Twitch or do any kind of side hustles to make earn extra money on the side outside of their WWE stuff. And that was fascist and that was messed up. It's only right for people to be able to be entrepreneurs and have different kinds of businesses they want. And if somebody's successful in something else other than basketball, like Lillard is with music or something like that, the NBA shouldn't be upset about that. It's all good, baby. And freedom is what we stand for. And there is freedom in what you're saying right there. Some franchises may discourage some of their players from being too involved in businesses in different ways. And of course, there's always the worries for young rookies coming in the league getting tied up in bad business decisions with family and friends, uh, partly. So they got to be educated on this kind of stuff too. But yeah, I think that the Raptors in particular, our group, are very good at marketing themselves. Whether it's Scotty and his Subway, Chris Boucher and his Slim Jims, Grady is a natural salesman, and he is all over stuff like that. And then, of course, Pascal with Red Bull, Precious and his grill. He's been putting a grill on blast this summer. So these guys are getting contracts and they are getting bags for advertising and being spokespeople. And I love it. It's really great stuff. Wayne Strainer saying Pascal looks extremely strong and built up upper body wise. He even seems a bit taller, but it's basically his body putting on more muscle and bulk. I know both Siakam and Scotty and Precious all look like even stronger than last year. I don't even know. Like these dudes look super strong last year. They're gonna look even stronger this year. And I'm excited about it. This year's Raptors is gonna be weird. In some ways, we're being born out of a stupid, frivolous lawsuit and a new coach, and we don't know what's gonna happen this year. But I think it's gonna be very fun and it's gonna be all very positive, and we're gonna have good stuff happen for us. I really do. Knocking on wood on this one. We need it. Oh my gosh, knock on wood. Oh, my head. All right, let's see. Randolph's saying something about Hulk Hogan. I love it. Hulk Hogan shared in an interview that he has been alcohol free for about 6 months, and he has kicked his drug addiction after years of surgery caused by his wrestling days. Poor man. Wow, I didn't realize this about this. Well, anybody who's suffering with addiction problems to drugs and alcohol, I always want to encourage them to help themselves as much as possible. And most of these wrestlers do have addictions to painkillers. That is really their way that they kept going on the road. Is they get beat up all night, they drink and party all night, and then they get up the next day and they have to take painkillers just to not feel the pain to make it through their day. Well, they got very addicted. In fact, in the '90s, what happened with the all kinds of pain pills that were illegal that were put out by the Sackler family, OxyContin. The wrestlers got addicted to them, and this was a really big part of the problem with Sacklers and OxyContin being prescribed by doctors across the U.S. Very many people got addiction problems from this, and it was absolutely gross and disgusting. The model of business where they were getting these people hooked so they'd make tons and tons of money. Well, this is why this family is a criminal. The Sackler family that invented OxyContin and pushed all the doctors to prescribe it for people for the most frivolous things. Like they say, oh, you have a little bit of a headache, here's an OxyContin. And then boom, they're addicted. In fact, we can say specifically Bam Bam Bigelow, Davy Boy Smith, these people both had their lives contributed to their deaths by OxyContin. You could say Bam Bam Bigelow was killed by the Sackler family, and that's not a reach. The Sackler family killed Bam Bam Bigelow. So that's what I'm saying. So Hogan probably had a painkiller addiction all this time too, but maybe it was at a more measured medium range where he could manage it. Well, now he's finally kicked it for sure. That's awesome. In some ways he's a jerk, and he said some racist stuff that was messed up a couple years ago, but he's still a childhood hero for many, many millions of people around the world. And in some ways, you got to separate Terry Bollea from Hulk Hogan when you're dealing with him. Terry Bollea, yeah, he could be a racist asshole, but Hulk Hogan is a character. And in some ways, he's like Superman. He should be celebrated no matter what, even if the guy who played him was kind of an idiot. But I am very happy to hear that Terry has kicked his killer addiction and alcohol also. That's a big deal. Not a lot of people will go that far. And I encourage people, if you feel like alcohol is okay and you have a grasp on it and don't need any problem, like have any problem with it, go continue. But if you feel like there is something weird about alcohol in your life, maybe it is time to try just like going dry for a little bit and seeing what the alternative is for yourself. You may find your life gets easier and better and you didn't realize just how much alcohol actually was taking from your life. I really don't believe in that drink because it's just a couple molecules of what we put in the cars to make them run. So you talk to me about whether it's good for you to put in your body or not. Yeah, you get that effect because it's messing you up inside. I'd much rather get this effect. I'll tell you that every single day. You know that. Yeah. This is natural. This came from out there. Yeah. Yeah, that's the stuff. Some Gene Guy. Gene Guy, that's what I got right now. All right, let's see. Randolph's also saying the Fire Stick needs a good VPN. Yeah, there you go. The Fire Stick needs a VPN. I think that Luby's got that. All right, thank you for gifting those. All right, NBA Quick Takes got one of the gifted memberships. I love it. That's fantastic. Cool Cat saying, I'll give someone else the opportunity. I will sign up when the leagues start. Okay, Cool Cat, you're very kind and thoughtful for that. Quick Takes saying, thanks, Isaac Campbell. I was trying to take it 100%. There you go. NBA Quick Takes. You're in membership. And if you're on Facebook, join me on Facebook because membership means you get access to our Facebook group where we're constantly posting Raptors related and Team Canada related stuff in our Facebook private group that's hidden. And there's not very many people in there. So you have access to a very special secret Facebook group for Raptor Freaks, NBA Quick Takes. So find me on Facebook and add me. Let me know it's you because I don't know your name, and you can be a part of that. If you don't have Facebook or you don't want to be a part of that, that's optional, obviously. Also, W from Isaac Campbell. I love to see that. Monique's saying, Tom, I do it closest to the season. See, it's too early. It's too early. Okay, Wayne Strainer took this other membership from David Saborin. Fantastic. I love to see a longtime Raptor freak, Wayne Strainer, taking that membership gifted from David. Thank you, David and Isaac, for being so benevolent. And Wayne, as I just said to NBA Quick Takes, please find me on Facebook so you can access the Raptor Freak content other than when I'm on the stream. So we're updating. Monique and I and other people are updating news and information on there by the minute and the hour as it happens. And it's also a good place for us to just be engaged socially as on social media to share information, pictures, all kinds of stuff. So find me on Facebook, guys, if you feel like using that perk to being a member. Please. Yeah, there we go. I love it. I love seeing you guys being new members. Very, very cool stuff. NBA Quick Take saying, not even in his ceiling. I hear you. Yeah, I don't know. What's that in reference to? I'm not even sure. Monique is saying, my message to the guys right now, enjoy the last few weeks of summer because when the season comes, hit the ground running. No joke. Watch out, NBA. So Monique has a message for the players of the Raptors. Has a message for us too. Is enjoy your summer because when the season starts, it's all business and we're getting back to business, baby. And Monique knows we're gonna hit the ground running and get going. And she's all about it and she's ready for it. And that's the way, yeah. The season will be here sooner than we think. Preseason starts in October. We'll have preseason games, and then boom, the season's starting by the end of October. And that's not as far away as we think. And this FIBA World Cup is going to make that time go by a little faster. Watch. Thank you, Monique, for the warning. And I'm sure the Raptors are going to really take advantage of their Septembers and have a good September, a restful September, the best way to prepare for the season kind of September. That's what we want from them. That's right. Cool Cat saying some folks don't know they are functioning alcoholics. I know. And I don't want anybody like, listen, when I talk about this stuff, I'm not talking to anybody in particular. I'm just saying in general. Sometimes people need to just take stock of their life and see what it is, the alternative, just in case. I mean, this is true. And people can be this for the rest of their lives and it doesn't matter. And it is perfectly fine. I wouldn't judge you. If you're functioning and you're not causing problems for your life to the point where it's really causing you sorrow and trauma that you don't necessarily need, then I'm fully for you being freedom and having your life and living the way you want to. But that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of people out there that are alcoholics and are able to just manage their life still, but it doesn't ever become a problem. And I get that. I get that. Let's see. Quick Take saying people are going to always find ways to get smoke. Yeah, smoke some smoke. Cool Cat saying, Lex, we have a Facebook problem. Laugh out loud. What other service do you have? I know, Cool Cat, and I want to encourage you there. It's just that I have everything really set up really well there already. It's kind of like we've had an established Facebook group going there for about 6 months already. Cool cat. Like we've had a group chat that's been very active, and now we actually have a private group that's hidden. I know that you're not going to get on Facebook, and I don't know how to deal with this. I am not happy with Discord. I don't think I'm going to deal with Discord, and that may have been the best opportunity otherwise. I don't know how to deal with this. I really do a lot on Facebook, not just with this channel, but with other things that projects that I do in my life also. So unfortunately, I'm bound to Facebook at this point, and it's kind of necessary evil in my life, even if it's changing and being weird. In fact, I like Mark Zuckerberg more than Elon, so I'm more likely to leave Twitter, which I kind of already did, than Facebook. And I know that you don't have it. I don't want to compromise that, but I know also in the same ways you're a very helpful and contributing member of our Raptor Freak family, but I want you to have access to all aspects of it for sure. I don't know what to do about this exactly. I really don't. I'm sorry. Quick text saying at Lex definitely will do. Awesome, cool. All right, well, let me know it's you in a message, and I'll add you, and you can get in there. And you know what? Plug your stuff away in our group too. Plug your stuff. Plug whatever you find that's interesting from Raptors world. It's really basically a place for us to collect a lot of stuff, so everybody's in the know and we see all the information. Like if somebody finds a box score for a game because somebody else can't find it, we throw it in there so everybody has easy access to find where the stuff is. So it's really what it is. It's a resource, and it's a good place to keep current on the important stuff around the Raptors and Team Canada and Canada and basketball in Canada in general. So yeah, Cool Cat saying we will be better than this season. I like how ESPN underrates us. Our main issue was the bench. Our bench is better. We only lost one core player and our coach. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see how the adjustments are. Sometimes addition by subtraction is very real. And there may be some of that feeling this year where we have an addition by a subtraction. And I'm not going to say, I know the coach probably. I don't want to diss Fred in some ways because I really do respect him and love him. But in some ways, we may feel a little bit of addition by subtraction in some ways. I know a lot of people are already calling that. Some Fred haters are always saying, "Oh yeah, we're going to be better next year because Fred's gone." Just by that alone, it really is. Let's see. Quick take saying, "I've always felt like Jonas can do more, but I could be wrong." It's weird because he's progressed since he left the Raptors. In some ways, I was worried about Jonas in his last couple years with the Raptors, whether he was becoming a dinosaur and he was kind of like being left behind by the game. There was a period of time where it seemed like the center was going extinct, that nobody wanted to have centers anymore. And in fact, the Raptors roster build for a couple of years really reflected this. In fact, that was part of why they did it was Jonas, is because Jonas was showing limitations and weaknesses for the Raptors team near the end with Casey and with Nick in his first year that wasn't helpful. And then he went to Memphis, and now in New Orleans, he's expanded his game in a couple ways. He's really included the 3-point shot now, and that's given him more length to his NBA career. Him not having a 3-point shot for us for a while and it being a joke with Nick Nurse and him, oh, I'm going to take threes now. Well, he actually does take threes now, and he's progressed and changed his game to survive and stay in the NBA. So that's part of the reason why. In some ways, Jonas Valanciunas could have easily been bounced out of this league, but he kept himself viable in the league by adding in a 3-point shot. Now his problems with slowness, it was foot speed and getting around. They are overcome by veteran savvy and understanding where he needs to be in spacing, and really leaning into his strength and size as far as things on the court. He of course is a very good rebounder still, and he still is a presence down near the basket, if not totally a shot blocker. So he's a weird build as a player in some ways, but he has changed his game to survive and still be in the league at this point. So, we thought he may be like not going to be in the league for very long when he was like seriously in his last 2 years with the Raptors. I was like, man, Jonas is going to get left behind, but he hasn't. And I'm very proud of him that he still plays in the NBA today, because in some ways there's a lot of reasons why he might not be in the league right now, especially with the youth movement and all the veterans getting kicked to the curb. A slow old dinosaur center like he was being called 6 years ago is still in the league right now. That's a very impressive feat to me, honestly. Cool Cat saying year 3 Scotty's going to be a monster. OG's going to take another step. Jakob is motivated to shoot further, and Precious is motivated to improve. I love it. I love it. I love all of this, Cool Cat. I love all these predictions, and I hope we get them all in a checklist right in a row. Scotty, I think, is going to be a monster. I think you're right. In some ways, Scotty is some ways have been maligned in certain ways. He's really pissed from going out like that in the play-in. He's pissed about how we went out the year before with Philly. He has things to prove. And in some ways, he wasn't big enough in his britches in the NBA system and understanding it to understand how much he can do himself to be powerful. Well, I think he's understanding it more and more. And this is why I want to tell Raptors fans there's going to be changes with Scott. They're going to be immensely amazing and huge. And we should be ready for this. And it could very well be this year. A lot of people say it's the third year in an NBA career when people blossom. And I don't disagree with that. And this is his third year coming up. And OG, yeah, he could take another step with consistency. In some ways, I like him to take a little bit more of the piece of the pie. It could be with Fred leaving that OG's going to have to take up a lot of the offensive slack from him, just like Scotty will. I don't see Pascal's load getting increased because Fred left. He already had a very good workload as far as his shot attempts and how much the ball goes through him. I think with Fred's departure, we're going to see the main beneficiary to be OG Anunoby. I'm not going to lie. It could very well be that OG is expected to be more of that like last second 3-point shot at the end of the shot clock instead of Fred this year. So yeah, that could be how OG takes another step is Fred's absence allows for him to fill in some of that vacancy. And then Jakob, motivated. Yeah, he said he has unfinished business. And that's why he re-signed with us for 4 years. And I love this so much. Jakob Pertl, you're a real one. You are a Raptor in your heart. And in some ways, getting back to Valanciunas, Jakob Pertl has more tools in some ways, but he is a lot like Jonas in some ways also. Jakob's a little bit more mobile. He's a much better rim protector. And he's very cerebral player. In fact, he's more like Gasol than he is Valanciunas in some ways. So his passing at the high post is so good. But he doesn't have a 3-point shot. So that's partly why he's like Gasol. But yeah, I love that Jakob's back. And we all kind of forget about him. We're talking about Scotty, OG, Pascal, this. But Jakob Pertl is an important part of the Raptors going forward. And we're all going to be very happy he's still with us. Watch. There's going to be many, many times where we're going to be watching like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad we got a center and we got Jakob now. Seriously. Zubac from Clippers. We won't see him do that stuff to us like he did last fall again because Jakob Pertl's out there. You won't see Zubac doing some dominant stuff like the Clippers did in the fall last year. No, you won't. Not with Jakob there. No, you won't. Precious, motivated to improve. Yes. He's actually going into his 4th season, and he should be ready to make a leap himself. In some ways, because of the stunting of Miami in his first year, maybe we could make the same prediction about him, just like Scotty, that in some ways, Precious is kind of entering his 3rd year also. Brian Windhurst. Players going into their 3rd year. Precious and Scotty, because Precious in some way, that rookie year in Miami is a waste in some ways. And this is kind of like Precious's real 3rd year. I like that. Quick Takes has got 100% with Lex. Yeah, I love it, Quick Takes. I love it. That's awesome. And it looks like Tristan Phipps has joined membership. Tristan, thank you for joining the channel. Membership has its privileges. You will have, just add me on Facebook. And there are other perks and different things. Obviously, you get access to the emotes with all the cool stuff. And, I read everybody's comment, but if it gets really crazy in this channel at some point, of course, members will always get their comments read. And then I will get as many of the other people's comments willing in the time. So, yeah, membership will have its privileges over time, even more and more so. And there are other stuff that may happen in different ways around this channel where if you're a member, you might get preferred access to certain things. Let's just put it that way. So we'll have to see. But thank you, Tristan, for joining as a member. That's fantastic. I love it. That's awesome. Let's see. No. Where am I at? All right, here we go. We got Carlos stepping in. Morning, fellow freaks. Always good to see Raptor Freak Carlo JS. Always good to see you. Wayne saying, thanks, David. I clicked, but wasn't sure what happened. Merci. Love our conversations. Don't know about Facebook, though, but I will resuscitate my account because of you guys. We'll see. Well, just put yourself in there. Have no friends except for me, or maybe whoever you already had, and or just add Raptors people, and you can really contain your Facebook activity and just make it just I'm going there to look at the Raptor Freak family posting stuff or something like that. It really is something like you can cultivate your garden on Facebook and kind of snip and prune and weed whatever bullshit that pulls up on your feed at this point. I'm really happy about it. And also, if you live in Canada, the benefits of what's happening with Meta and the Canadian government is actually really awesome because they're filtering out all the news bullshit. A lot of the propaganda that's political is not on Facebook at this point because of this war between Meta and the Canadian government over news on it. Now, there's some bad things about it because they need better communication because the fires out there. And Trudeau is very critical of Meta for not helping with this emergency. But there's also good things. Like they're filtering out all kinds of bullshit news that you just don't want to see anyway. So thank you, Canadian government. And I'm actually not against this stupid thing that's happening with Meta and the Canadian government because there's a added benefit to Facebook being much more better because there's a lot of crap cleared out of it that I didn't want to see anyway. So Wayne, I don't know if that sells you on coming back to Facebook. The Canadian government has limited the propaganda bullshit that's on there. So it's not as bad as it was like around the elections and Biden and Trump, everything. It's so bad at that time. Oh my gosh. David saying, what about the new threads from Meta? I don't know. I like every single new app. I guess I just hit it. You hit a certain age in your life where new apps come out like Snapchat, Threads, and Discord, and I'm just like, I can't learn this. I guess I'm an old head. I'm just an old fart, and I just don't want to learn it. It's like I don't want to learn Snapchat. I don't want to learn Discord. I get in there and I'm like, this is not like user friendly. It's not really like making sense and I don't want to put in the effort to learn it. Maybe this is part of how youngsters age out people like me to be not in the cool stuff. And this is why they go and run to Snapchat because old people can't figure it out. I'm okay with that. But this is part of the problem with threads or any new apps. I'm very much technically disadvantaged in some ways. I'm not good with this kind of stuff. And in the learning curve of me learning new apps and new sites is not very good right now. So in some ways, that's part of the problem, David. Kareem saying, I loved Hulk Hogan up until he screwed Elizabeth. He did Macho Man dirty, and since then he rubbed me the wrong way. And this is an allegation. I don't think that Hulk Hogan ever actually had sex with Elizabeth. That was all a storyline, Kareem. Yes, Hulk Hogan had the lust in his eyes. The Macho Man said, I see the lust in your eyes, Hogan. And he puts his finger right up in his face. Like he's putting it right up in his face. That's what the Macho Man always did. Yeah, that was a storyline. In real life, they were actually really friends. Now, if he actually slept with her and there was some weird stuff because of that, I don't think that's true. I really don't. People don't realize, this is one of the things that bugs me about wrestling. They talk about, all these women around wrestling were all whores. That's not true. Elizabeth was a very dutiful wife to Randy. And in fact, if you watch the Dark Side of the Ring episode about them, he was very controlling of her and he like put her in like closets while he was out there. If she wasn't involved in a match coming to the ring with him, he would lock her in a room away from the other wrestlers. So he was very protective in that way. And the other thing about her is she really was like who she seemed like. She wasn't a devious person in any kind of way. And she truly loved Randy and was devoted to him. So she wasn't cheating on him. It was all part of a storyline, and they just wanted to make it big, and really they used it that way. But yeah, at a certain point, they did fall out, and they did get divorced. And then Elizabeth hooked up with Lex Luger, and they were very much a couple for that time. And of course, she died at his house, overdose when they were having a cocktail of prescription drugs. Once again, in some ways, this comes right back to what happened to Bam Bam and other people. Oxycontin kind of stuff. You take a bunch of prescription pain pills, you drink a bunch of vodka, and your heart stops, and you're dead underneath the table. And a lot of wrestling fans blame Lex Luger for her death, but in some ways, that's not fair because she was there as an addict using that stuff just as much as he was, and he was horrified by this. He tried to save her, but he couldn't, and it was a really tragic story. So in some ways, I like to to kind of like defend her honor and say she's not a whore and she didn't cheat on Randy. She really didn't. And in some ways, she was just a really nice woman in a really weird, crazy business. And you see Elizabeth as her character on the stage. That's who she was in real life. Just a really sweet person. So in some ways, they may say this. Now I know this, like when she left Randy, when she was going through the divorce, she did go and live with Hogan and Linda Hogan. Because they were best friends, Linda Hogan and Elizabeth, and she would stay with them, but he didn't do anything with her at that time because he was with Linda. So it's such a weird stump thing. I know there's stories out there that say that this happened, but they just want to believe it because of the wrestling storyline. But I don't think there's any truth to it. And Elizabeth Hewlett never actually slept with Terry Bollea. I don't think that's true. Cool Cat saying Gasol and was our defensive anchor, more experience in IQ that we needed for the chip, better ready than JB. Yeah, this is all true. In some ways, Gasol was very hungry and near the end of his career, and he had a lot of experience in different ways that Jonas just didn't have in certain ways. Memphis was getting into the playoffs and getting a little bit of success, but just not getting to the next level. So he was really hungry, and he did have playoff experience more than Jonas did to a degree. So there was a lot of very calculated reasons why we traded Jonas Valanciunas and CJ Miles for Marc Gasol at that time. DeLon Wright also. It was a very interesting trade. It was the right trade, and it was a big part of the reason why we won our championship. Yeah. Quick Takes is saying, yeah, the awareness issues definitely, but I'm not sure exactly what you're saying. Carlos saying last year's roster was better than all of those DeMar Kyle years, so something went wrong last year. I'm betting in the coaching staff. It's going to be different with Darko. Yeah, I like that prediction, Carlo. I think you're right. There was just weird, bad black clouds hanging over the Raptors last year. I really do feel like they centered around Nick. And I'm not even totally sure what happened to Nick. I speculated last year something personally was happening to him in his life that was affecting him in certain ways where he couldn't be the best at his job. And him not being the best at his job wasn't able to round up the players and keep them together and keep them with him. So at a certain point, he lost them. And it could very well be that he was too egomaniacal and he was yelling at them, like Earl Watson's saying, and trying to correct them. And he turned them off because he was too pushy, too demanding. And that could be how it happened and went about. Hopefully Darko has a better bedside manner with the players and he gets more out of them because they want to do it for him. At a certain point last year, the players had some, grievances with Nick Nurse, obviously, for some sort of reason or something that happened. And we don't know exactly. Quick Take saying, I would be more surprised if JV actually got bounced out of the league. You would be more surprised? See, at that point, it's weird because there wasn't the rise of Jokic and Joel yet. And they really are the ones who are proving that the center can still be in the league. The trend near the end of the 2010s was it looks like the NBA is going away from the center and that centers are going to be useless because they're too slow in the more like Vision 6-9 kind of like philosophy of playing. These centers can't play Vision 6-9 because they're too slow to do it. So you need at least a power forward that's quick enough to move around like a Scotty or a Pascal. And that's a big part of why. The game was trending in that direction. But a very super talented, methodical big man like Nikola Jokic and a big fraud like Joel Embiid are showing that the center still has a place in this league. And that has kept Jonas still in the league. I mean, I'm glad you had confidence in him. I did not. And I'm a big Jonas Valanciunas fan. And like 5 years ago, I thought he would not be in the league for much longer because the league just got too quick for him. And that has not happened. Thank God. I'm glad he's still in the league and he's doing very well. Tristan saying we had two players, Gary and Fred, within top 10 on ball steals in the league. Fred was first. I agree something went wrong. And hopefully this year will be better, notwithstanding the Knicks accusations. Yeah, I think we're going to do all right this year. Let's get this litigious bullshit out of the way and just get focused on basketball and hit the ground running. In some ways, the Raptors have a very similar path as Team Canada does tomorrow. We got to hit the ground running and go right against our biggest enemies right away. We're going to get Nick Nurse third game into the season here in Toronto against the Sixers. And this is going to be big tests right away. We're going to have big tests against some of the biggest Eastern Conference teams in the fall, in the beginning of the season. These Boston games against Boston right away, the first one and the in-season tournament game, are going to be so crucial. And then, Milwaukee games early in the season, very crucial. New York, oh my gosh, especially for this bullshit that's going on right now. So in some ways, we're stacked with the deck against us at the beginning of the season. The easy part of the schedule is at the end of the season. We start playing Charlotte and Washington and all those games in the spring. So it's very similar. Team Canada's got to go in there and beat the best to be the man. We got to do the same. We got to beat the top Eastern teams before Christmas in our NBA schedule as the Raptors. So yeah, it's going to be fun. And I like the challenge. And we'll succeed and we will fail. And there will be different levels of it. And hopefully there'll be more levels of success than failure in that. Yeah, I love it. Thank you, Tristan, for the membership once again. And also for the great comment. Man, the great comment. And I'm excited about this year. That's right. Let's beat the Knicks' ass. Cool Cat saying, I want to see OG dribbling skills and added playmaker. Jakob would be nice as a mid-range shooter. That would be better for spacing too. He's okay with the little one-handers from 10 feet out. He has some pretty good touch with those. And it really is a shooter, big man's touch. You can't throw it too hard or anything. It's just like a little looper. Some of it is very Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. As far as OG, the dribbling skills, in some ways, I still want him to catch and shoot. I still want him to get down the court really quick and transition and bully ball, like a dunk on a small guard who's back with him. In some ways, I don't like him once again having the ball and dribbling to penetrate into the lane. I don't feel like this is the best part of his skill set. And then the other part about it, yes, I'd love to see OG pass more. In some ways, on the spectrum of passing and catching and shooting, he's more with Gary Trent on that end than him passing and distributing himself. I know OG is a good passer and he can pass, but I want to be more pronounced and see OG like show that off more this season. In some ways, once again, Fred's gone. He can like fill in spots where Fred was a playmaker just as much as taking the shots that Fred took from the outside also. So I expect OG's role just to go up just because Fred's gone. For sure. I'm all about that. I am all about that. Spacing is going to be a big part of what the Raptors are going to do this year that's going to be better. Darko's a better coach at making spacing happen with the way he coaches than Nick. Nick wasn't even trying to fix the spacing problems. In fact, the way he did the isolation and the wild card, do whatever you're going to do, guys, was really stupid. Well, Dennis is really good for spacing. Grady is really good for spacing. And Darko will be very good for spacing. So these kind of new people on our team are going to add to helping with some of the issues from last year with the spacing. Seriously. Grady and Dennis, as players on the court, are going to be huge breaths of fresh air for what they help with spacing. I'm going to tell you that right now. Yeah, Quick Takes is saying, all right, and I want my cutoff, guys, because I got to get done by 11:30. Let's see. Quick Takes is saying, hang on, I'll get back to the right spot. I would be more. Okay, nope, that's not where I'm at. Okay, Quick Takes is saying Jakob is more refined for sure, closer to Gasol. Yeah, Jonas has a 3-point shot. Those two guys didn't. Mark and Jakob are better passers than Jonas is. In some ways, Jonas is a better rebounder than those other two guys. So yeah, there's differences, and I think Jakob may be the best offensive rebounder between those three centers, though. Like out of the three guys, I think Jakob's the best offensive rebounder. Jonas is the best defensive rebounder. Mark is the best passer, and the best defender. So that's kind of what I give each one of them, kind of in those ways. Carlos saying Nick's lawsuit, a big nothing burger. Apparently, it's industry practice to take all your stuff when going to another team. What I want for Jakob is to make those free throws in the fourth. We'd love to see Jakob Pertl get better at free throws. And yeah, but this is the thing. The encouraging sign is that he may miss free throws real ugly during the game, but usually when they're clutch and they're important at the end of the game, he nails them. So we'll pay attention to that, Carlo. If Jakob is at the line near the end of the game because of hack-a-shack kind of stuff, I guess hack-a-yak, we'll have to see if they make him pay for being a bad free throw shooter, or he makes them pay for thinking that and putting him on the line. So we'll see. We're gonna pay close attention to this. I was already paying close attention to it when we got him. It's when he has free throws in clutch. Watch whether he makes them then, and that's gonna be the good stuff. Now about the Knicks lawsuit, you're right. Nothing burger. Exactly. Isaac's got Scotty, Pascal, and OG. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Let's fucking go. That's right, Isaac Campbell. Let's go. Cool Cat saying those social media tools need to pay journalists for their work. Yeah, I don't even want to go into that too much. Blue Jays got hammered last night. Don't like hearing that. Quick Take saying he was a real savage, eh? You know, Randy, in some ways, it's not fair what they said about Macho Man in his Dark Side of the Ring, being controlling like that. A lot of people are critical of that. Like Bret Hart hates that epitome of what they portray Randy. And it's not fair to make him look like a very tyrannical, controlling person because that's not totally his side. Of course, we saw it in his character. It was part of the Macho Man's thing. It's like, you get over there, Elizabeth. This is the way it is. So there's a little bit of that behind the scenes, but in a lot of ways, they really were just like a regular couple and very loving towards each other. And he was a very sensitive, nice guy and not really the bad, horrible person that was so controlling that he locked her in a closet. So, like, sure, he did that. But in some ways, that was to protect her from those idiots that he worked with. In some ways, he's like looking out for her. But it's a weird way they try and paint Macho Man Randy Savage as like abusive, controlling husband, or that may not be totally true or fair. A lot of the people who really know him say they hate that painting of him, and that's not who he was. He was a loving family man that was a good person. And there weren't any problems with him being an asshole or very abusive towards Elizabeth in reality. But the character, once again, lends people to extrapolate and go further with it. Oh, he's like pushed her down to because he's mad at George the Animal Steel. It's like, well, that's part of the storyline. He's supposed to do it at that moment. It's like you're supposed to be mad at him because that's part of making him the heel and the bad guy. So yeah, good stuff. NBA quick. We're talking some wrestling today. Cool Cat saying I was a huge wrestling fan as a kid growing up. I thought it was real. When I became an adult and realized it was fake, my heart broke and can never watch it again. It's sad. The internet destroyed wrestling. It really, really did. Before, when it was just like, you could go town to town, you could fool one area. And if you get found out, well, you go to the next area and they don't carry news across. So you could say, oh, Abdullah the Butcher's a fake. He doesn't really do that. He's like, I know he's a fake. He's not really doing it. And then, oh, you don't tell the people over in Kansas when he shows up there, they don't know. So you could fool people because the people weren't interconnected enough to share the secrets of wrestling left and right. And it absolutely destroyed everything. And people now at this point, they have podcasts and they're just telling all the stories outright. And it's beautiful in some ways. I love hearing Jim Cornette tell me about things when I used to go watch him when I was a kid and him being a really bad guy and telling us all the secrets. It's like magicians revealing all their great secrets, like that show on TV, The Magician's Secrets Revealed. Well, wrestlers' secrets revealed on podcasts left and right all over the place. Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Jake the Snake Roberts, Rob Van Dam, Kurt Angle, Jeff Jarrett. These guys all have podcasts now. And you can hear them tell the stories about what they were doing and why they did angles. And they totally blew all the secrets out of the water. In some ways, that's fascinating to me. But I can get it why you were upset and sad when you found out it wasn't real. And you were like, I can't watch this anymore. I totally get that. Mischief, good to see you. Always good to see Mischief in the house. David Saporan, haha, that's cute. Cool cat. And NBA Quick Take saying locking wives in closets is savage as F. Lived up to his name. Like I said, partly it was so she had her own private place away from the other wrestlers. I know that sounds crazy. Yeah, it does sound crazy. Quick Take Santa, Cool Cat, definitely 100%. Yeah, we always talk a little bit of wrestling. Mischief saying, what you gonna do, brother? What you gonna do, brother? Oh, yeah. When Macho Man and Hulk Hogan run wild on you, Hulkamania, Macho Madness style. Oh, yeah. Yeah, what you gonna do when the Raptors run wild on you? That's right, Mischief. That's right. David Saborin saying run wild as in kicking the shit out of everyone. Quick Take saying, yes, I remember the center hating trend. Yeah, you remember that from a couple of years ago. I thought that really was going to kill the center off for a while. But Jokic is really the big antidote for this. And he's turning tides. Everybody sees how he won this championship this year. And they're like, maybe we should get a big pivot. And I think Embiid's fool's gold. And he won't get there. Because a couple of years ago, I was saying all the time, I was saying a team with a center or they're built around a center will not win an NBA championship. Well, I got proven wrong this year. The Jokic did go get that championship. But I don't think Embiid will ever get one like that. But it's, in some ways, building your team around a center is risky in today's NBA. It really, really is, because in some ways, Joel Embiid is just as much a detriment as he is an advantage. We know that. We've played him a lot of times. We see how slow he is. We see how he huffs and puffs. Well, like, how are you going to depend on him in crunch time when he's gassed and he's sitting on the bench because he's too big and stupid? That's what I'm saying. So in some ways, a big guy is a disadvantage still, and they got to really cover up his stuff. Like Jokic has to sit out big periods of time. They have to be smart about when they use his minutes. So it's the same thing with Joel. So this is part of the risk of building around center. G saying just came back. Did you do the social media check already? Yes, we did. We did do that already. Sorry, G. And Isaac saying at Cool Cat, I felt the same about ESPN. That's hilarious. You liked ESPN because you thought it was real until you found out it was fake. And then it ruined it for you. I get it, Isaac. I totally get it. ESPN is fake like wrestling. Kareem Thomas saying, are we booing Nick Nurse his first game back or video tribute? I need to know so this way I'll make my arrangements and put my TV in the garage. Wait, what? I'm not totally understanding this comment, so I'll break it down. Booing Nick Nurse or giving a video tribute, I think he's going to get a video tribute from the Raptors, and he probably will get a tribute from the fans. And rightfully so. He really should. In some ways, yeah, some of us are going to boo him. I might be there and boo him myself. But in some ways, I don't care either way. In some ways, he should get one pass. It could be that we let him come back on this first game, the third game of the season, and we honor him. We give him a cheer. We don't boo him at all. But then every game after that, we boo him for the rest of it. How about that? We can get organized like this. Most of them are going to cheer him anyway. So maybe the fans who want to boo Nick Nurse, maybe just hold your tongue for one game just to honor him as the coach who coached us to our first championship and give him that distinct respect, because that is still true. Even if he messed up our season last year, he still got coached us to our first championship. And that deserves a recognition and honor without the boo birds, at least for maybe the first game. I would say that maybe. I think I would do that. If I showed up for the first game, I won't boo him. Let him get his shine and his honors for his accomplishments with our team first. But then it's fair game after that. For the rest of the season, we got to play Philadelphia, boo the hell out of him. But let's give him at least his one warm welcome back. At least one. I think that's the classy and the right way to do it and handle this in some ways. Yeah. Cool Cat saying we are never booing our honorary Canadians, Nick Nurse and Fred VanVleet, when they return this year. Well, Cool Cat, that's your personal choice. But it's a freedom. Once again, I'm all about freedom. And if people want to have the freedom to boo Goran Dragic, people want to have the freedom to boo Tracy McGrady or Vince Carter when they came back, they should be allowed to do what they want to do in this too. And I will probably be booing Nick Nurse after the first game. The first game, like I said, I'll give him a pass and we'll honor him and cheer him and be proud of him. But after that, I'm going to boo him every single game after that. Fred, it's different. I'm not going to boo Fred. I don't have any reason to boo Fred. Some people may boo Fred, and they have their reasons, maybe misguided, but I won't be one of them. But, people want to boo Fred. I'm not going to tell them not to either, because it's their life and freedom and stuff like that. So whatever our personal choices are, you do them how you want to do them. You want to cheer or boo whoever, it's your right. And in some ways, I don't like sometimes I go to a game and I boo people. People look at me like, why are you booing? And I'm like, I'm at a sports game. People cheer and boo at sports games. This is just actually normal behavior at games. This is like, what? Because I'm Canadian, I'm not allowed to boo? Bullshit. I'm a Canadian raised in Tallahassee, Florida, and I'm allowed to boo. That's right. Because people give me dirty looks in the stands. I'm a loud fan. I can be loud in the arena. That's why people go to sports to cheer their team on. I don't like the fans that are quiet. They just sit around me like it's dinner theater. So when I get stink eye from Raptor fans that are sitting near me, I just get louder. I'm sorry. And the funny thing to them is they think they can go talk to the usher and I can get in trouble. Well, the ushers all know me. They've known me for like 20 years because I used to work with them. And they laugh at them. It's like, oh, that's Lex. Yeah, he's a huge Raptors fan. He's always loud at the game. This is a basketball game, man. What do you expect? Is what they usually get when they go and complain about me. So yeah, there you go. So you try and quiet Lex in his natural habitat called the Scotiabank Arena. You ain't gonna get it because the ushers are my friends. That's right. I know these dudes. So he ain't gonna mess with me in there. No, you're not. All right, let's keep going. Monique is saying, I want to kill the Knicks so bad. Wow. You don't even know. W Stream Lex says always keep at it and cut off. Thank you, Monique, for the official cutoff. Moderator, administrator, Monique, the superfan greatest Loris. Yes, I wanted to kill them this week too. I have shared that sentiment for sure. Monique's got a bunch of Raptors out there. I love it. Quick take saying Brett the Hitman, Hulk, Hogan, Undertaker, top 3 wrestlers all time. That's pretty good. I won't disagree with you, Bret Hart. He is probably my favorite wrestler of all time and the greatest of all time, in my opinion. My personal opinion, that's who I like the best. If I was going to pick 2 other people in that list, a little bit different than yours, I'd probably put Stone Cold Steve Austin and Bret the Hitman Hart. And my third person, I personally really love Rob Van Dam. So I would pick those 3 guys as my top 3 favorites of all time. Hitman, Austin, and RVD. Yeah, quick take saying true. Yeah, hold the booze the first game. Let's honor Nick one game, and then we'll give him the next. Let's see. Isaac Campbell saying, to be honest, I was just hoping to get a dunk and make a joke, but ESPN is not the Ultimate Warrior. All right, you're requesting it. You can kind of get a dunk, even though, because in some ways Isaac is so benevolent and amazing for his channel. In some ways, listen. You're talking about the Ultimate Warrior. You're talking about wrestling, ESPN being fake. All right, I'll give you a dunk for that. And quick take saying is booing is a right. That's right. It's free speech. It's just like James Harden wants to say Daryl Morey is a liar and I'll never play for his organization again. That is free speech, as is also booing. So that's what I'm saying. There you go. Quick takes. I love it. We'll just finish up real quick. Country Kong's here. Good morning, Raptors freaks. Just popping in to say hi. Lex, I love the energy you bring to games. Florida pride. In American history, the Battle of the Seminoles was an epic fight for Florida. That's right, unconquered. That is the word we use in Tallahassee to talk about Chief Osceola, the chief of the Seminole tribe. In some ways, the Seminoles lived in a region of the United States that was very, very good for defending. A lot of swampland, a lot of land that had very dangerous diseases and things that could hurt the explorers, the white man, coming to try and take the Seminole property of the Florida, basically. So yeah, the one thing that the Seminole Nation in the United States says is they were the unconquered nation, the one that never got actually taken over by the U.S. government, because there's a faction of the Seminole tribe that lived in the Everglades that didn't get messed with because they couldn't mess with them. So that's why they call it unconquered. And this really is a spirit that runs through Florida State University and the way we look at things. This is the story, the legend of Chief Osceola. And he is the guy who comes out and throws the flaming spear into the middle of our football field for football games on the horse called Renegade. Well, people have had problems with this. Obviously, we see the Washington Commanders. We see the Cleveland Guardians. We see the Edmonton Elks. And we realize that these terms they're not good. Well, this is actually okay in this situation with Florida State because the Seminole tribe, who's still centered in the same place they were, unconquered still, in Central Florida. They have a bunch of Hard Rock cafes and casinos, but they have a deal with Florida State to use the name Seminole, and they benefit from it directly. And that's the difference between why a whole bunch of schools and sports teams had to change their names from derogatory terms that were very racist, and the Florida State Seminoles did not have to, because they are actually giving a huge cut of their merchandise and revenue to the Seminole tribe. And it's all a business agreement. So that's a big reason why Florida State is allowed to still do that. And they very much do honor the actual, real, true traditional garb and certain things about that tribe with the school and what they do authentically. So they have the blessing of them. Now, other Native American groups do not like that the Seminole tribe sold out, and they're doing this with FSU. But this is the arrangement that they got down there. So it's a weird situation. But yeah, I love it too. And this totally informs you why I root for the Raptors the way I do. Is because I'm from Florida State Seminoles Nation, just like Scotty Barnes. And we take college football very seriously and a little tribalistic. And that is part of what I introduced to my Raptors fandom and Raptors fan nation also, is to have this pride for your team. Just like people have pride for the Florida State Seminoles college football team led by Bobby Bowden back in the day. So yeah, that's where it comes from, right there, Country Kong. And it is a huge part of my sports fan identity, is being a young kid raised in Tallahassee during the Bobby Bowden era, with Deion Sanders and Warwick Dunn and all the greats that came through Florida State throughout the years. Yeah, Charlie Ward, so many good ones. Yeah, Isaac Campbell's got me, Mo, Darko, and Drake. That's right. We're getting ready for the good times. Country Con saying, wow, thanks so much for sharing. Love touching on these other topics. You're very well informed and well read. Florida State is showing the Washington Commanders and Kansas City how it's done. Well, I mean, seriously, a Redskins is the most derogatory, racist name for a team ever. And the people there are actually wanting it to come back. There's politicians in Washington trying to pull to get the name back to the team. That's disgusting and messed up. It's not a good name. It never was. And the name Commanders is great for George Washington and the whole thing that goes with Washington, D.C. And as far as the Cleveland Indians becoming the Cleveland Guardians, perfect name change. In some ways, the guardians of our land are the people that are important to today's fight against progress and development that's tearing down our natural landscape that's right behind me. That's what guardians are, land guardians. And in some ways, honoring the name of the baseball team in Cleveland, honoring that name is very, very deep and powerful in some ways. It's a great name change. And they all are. And the Eskimos being changed to the Elks, that's a big deal. And people in Edmonton are pissed off about this. And racist people are like, we want it to go back to the Eskimos. The Eskimos, it's crazy. People want to dial it back to 1950s. Well, you vote right, you will. You want to be more progressive and get with the future, which is going to happen anyway. We're all going to drag all those old non-progressive people with us, because progress is going to happen either way. They can't stop it. So they just can't. All right, I appreciate you, Country Kong. And yeah, we get a little bit down other roads sometimes on this channel. No problem with that. A little bit of Florida State talk, a little bit of wrestling talk, a little bit of life talk, just in general. Quick Take saying, that's why I fucks with you, Lex. Unapologetic. Raptors and Canadian pride. There you go. A Canadian raised in America with American sports mentality and a little bit of an edge. Not as nice as the average Canadian, just because I was that kid in school, just like Pip on South Park. Oh, you're the Canadian kid. Beat up on the Canadian kid. Yeah. Yeah. So I was standing strong for Canada in the middle of Trump land, USA, as a little kid getting bullied for being that Canadian communist kid with that Russian name. Yeah. I got it. But I was tough and I went through it, and it made me who I am today. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching me. Tomorrow, I'm really excited. Canada's going to be playing France at 9:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. We'll be doing a live watch along with the game. You'll hear my commentary. I'll call the game for you guys, just like Matt Devlin would if he was there. And you can hear me give my insight in the moment as Team Canada battles Team France in the very beginning of the World Cup. This one counts, baby. So I hope you'll join me at 9:30 a.m. to watch this game. It's going to be very exciting and very fun. And we very much enjoyed the couple of watch alongs we've done already in recent weeks. So this one's going to be very good. Very, very good. All right, y'all. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. NBA Quick Takes. That's who I want you to like, comment, subscribe, and share with. And if you want to join the Raptor Freak channel, just like Tristan Phipps did just a little while ago, please do. There's some benefits to it, and there's going to be all kinds of fun stuff happening on this channel all the time. Prizes, get-togethers, going to games, just general camaraderie and community around positive Raptors fans that love the Toronto Raptors and want to see them win many, many championships. That's what we want. All right, y'all. Thanks again, and have a great Thursday. I'll see you guys tomorrow. All the best. Let's go Team Canada, and let's go Raptors as always. That's right, baby. Woo! Woo! Oh, yeah! Macho Man. Elizabeth!